Well, thank you for that introduction. I hope I can meet your expectations right now. But let me introduce myself a little bit more on my practice from the practice point of view. I was raised as a tree nurser, so I was growing trees, and I was really it really got me that if we put a little seed in the soil, that a huge tree can come out. You know, I think it's a very beautiful thing that Mother Nature gave us, and I realized at a certain point in my life, working on that tree nursery, that it's exactly the same with food. If we take care of the conditions of the soil, of everything else, so food comes out of the soil, out of the world. We can eat from Mother Earth. And then I thought, I don't want to be the tree nurser. I want to become the farmer. So I was really trained as a professional farmer. But then the access to land is one of the biggest issues, of course. If you do not have a farm, I will come up with some facts and figures in a few moments. But if you do not have any land, it's very difficult to get your own farm. So I started working with the Farmers Association here in the Netherlands, studying on the continuity of all the members. You know, the Farmers Association at that point, I'm talking about the year 2000, had about 80% of all the farmers as a member. And we were asking ourselves, how does it look like in future? And then I started walking into these farms. I think I visited over 200 farms, looking at their future. How are you dealing with legislation? How are you dealing with future upcoming conditions? How are you also financially doing it? And when I stopped doing that, when I look back at 200 visits, I thought the system is broke. And I think what we have to address also in this kind of conferences here is not only the solutions, but we also have to address the system barriers that are in the system to make sure that if we want to have a healthy soil, everything Anouk said resonated very much with me, because I think it's so true. You know, there is not only facts and figures, it's also a system that we have to deal with. And so I studied since 2012 on what can I do. Oh, it's this way. And this is what I came out, what my outcome was. This is, in my opinion, what future of agriculture looks like. And maybe you would not have expected a picture of so many people, because I do not know these people. I think it's just a few of us. In the Netherlands, we have 18 million people, and I think this is a group of them. But I see one thing in this picture. I see they look up to a system that they want to be part of. They are eager or curious. They are filming it. They are taking pictures of it. They are happy. And I think it doesn't matter who these people are. I think it has to do everything what it is not right now. You know, for a lot of people, food is something that you buy in the supermarket, and that is logically it's there and it will always be there. But we know it's not true. And I think that we have to invest in individual people who start understanding how the food system works and what their own role can be. Because I think that the big transition we are standing for right now has nothing to do with system transition. It has everything to do with an individual transition from people towards nature, towards Mother Earth, towards the soil. So the future of soil health is in the individual transition of individual people. So that is what I state I want to, this is what I started working on. And I started working on this mission statement. I really believe that we have to start working on producing food together, vital for people and planet, available for everyone. And now I can pick out a lot of words, but I want to address a few of that. I say vital for planet, you know, vital for planet. The way it is produced, vital for planet. And if you combine it with available to everyone, I just take out one example: organic food. You know, only, and now I'm a little bit brutal, but only rich, well-educated people are able to eat the planet healthy, because it's the most expensive part in supermarket. You know, and what I think that we have to do is design a system that everybody is able to eat for himself, to become healthy, but also to make the planet healthy. And if we look at how the system of today works, and it's not, I say today, but this is an old picture, you know, this is how the food chain in the Netherlands looked like. And this is a picture of a couple of years ago, still talking about 65,000 farmers in the Netherlands. To go clear, we have 45 right now, and there is an average of 5 to 7 farmers per day who leave their farm in the Netherlands. On the other end of the chain, there is the picture says 16.7 million people in the Netherlands. That's 18 million. So it's an outdated picture. But what never has changed is the essence of this chain. You know, in the middle there is 5 big offices who are buying and reselling the food farmers produce and what comes and what we are eating. I believe in the Netherlands it's not 4,400 supermarkets right now; it's 6,400. But that's what we're looking at. And so all the food farmers produce will reach the people, but only five CEOs can make a difference. 5 CEOs, remember that. But let's look at both ends of that system. This is, in my experience, this is what consumers, and I'm not even talking about people, but because we are approaching them as consumers, this is what the consumer finds in supermarket. And I took a picture of products that I think she can recognize as there is a contribution of the farmer in it. Because when you walk in supermarket, there are so many products that are not, people cannot see anymore that there is a farmer involved with that product. It's marketing, it's big. I always make the distinguishing, I always say, like, farmers produce food and we eat products, if you can follow me. Yeah? So farmers produce food and we eat products. At the same time, and when I drove here, it was on national radio again, that 85%, some scientists say 80%, of what supermarket offers is not healthy, as in does not fit the wheel of 5. So too much salt, too much sugar, too much fat in it. No, it's also something. So what consumers deal with, and I think what is a big issue, is temptation and addiction. You know, we are obese is of course one of the biggest health issues at this point. So this is what consumers have to deal with. Not only, and I don't even talk about the McDonald's or whatever fast food restaurants coming up, or the home delivery services, so you don't have to cook anymore. The connection between people and the farmer, and if you want to go broader, the connection between the farmer and nature, and so also the soil, it's broken, it's gone, I think. And when you look at the other side of the chain, this is a Dutch article in the newspaper, and to translate it a little bit for you, who will rid farmer Ted of his 300,000 kilos of rejected celeriac. What happens is, it was too big. It's not that these products were not good enough or not healthy enough, but the measurements was not okay. Yeah. So what to do with it? How to get rid of this kind of produce? It's healthy, but because of climate change, there was more water, more rain, more etc. So it stayed longer in the soil. It grew bigger, and it was not healthy. It was not able to deliver it anymore. So this is the other side. And when we look at the current state of Europe, I really think that we have to start considering, how are we going to take care of ourselves? Not only the current, the actual, the very the things that Trump does at the moment, at this moment. Also, when you look at we are getting isolated. Let's make the point. So I want to state that we have to take care of ourselves. But when we look at Europe at this moment, I think we have a big issue. That is the issue of access to affordable fertile land. This could have been a picture in the southern part of France, Spain. Sorry, the southern part of Spain. So you see, the climate zone is already changing at this point of view. So is there access for fertile land? And this is the most underestimated figures, I think, at this point where we are right now. The average age of the farmer in Europe is 55 plus, and only half of them have a successor. But if you put that on the context of the Netherlands, I think I'm not. I do not have the exact numbers, but they are. I know they are older than 60, and only 1/3 as a successor. So in the Netherlands, as the big lead in the world of the food production, I think we have also a very big challenge. And this is what we are facing: the upcoming immense race of processed or highly processed food. I think these 3 things combined lead to the question: are there enough people and farmers to set up a sustainable fresh food production in Europe and make sure that there is fertile land? I think this is the main question Europe should ask, I think. And when you look at the Netherlands, I always like to present the Netherlands by night, because you can see by the density of light where we are. You know, these are 80 million people living on a small surface together, and it's so to me it's so eye-opening that only 49,000 farms in the Netherlands. That means that if they were working alone, a farmer, so that's not true, but that's not happening. But it's 3% of us who is willing to produce food. You can argue with me if they're doing it in the right way at the moment, but it is only 3%. Okay, they might have a family as well, so let's say 6%. Maybe there is a son or a daughter. It's 9%, but we do not reach 1%. And what we are doing right now, we are saying that it's an open market. Food is an open market. Soil is an open market. You can sell and resell. So do we have enough people who really want to become the farmer? As I asked you in this room, would you become a farmer if there is not enough? I don't know who wants to raise his hand. Who wants to become a farmer if there is not one? You know, 1, 2, maybe 3. Okay, but honest, it's not enough. You know, so let's do different things in policies. Some other facts and figures, I lend them for agenda. If you look at the Netherlands, 73% of the rural area is used for animal feed. Yeah, so that's not even everything. We also need an equal surface in Southern America, for example, to have enough food for our animals here. And the half of what we have 1.8 million hectares of farmland, and the half of that is used for dairy land. So take that in mind, because this is the added value per sector at this moment in the Netherlands. This is the income, the free income of the farmer that he can spend on whatever he wants to spend it on. This is a family income. And what you see, again, that 900,000 hectares in the Netherlands is dairy farming, and you see that the contribution of that sector is just the smallest. I think there is another way to earn 30,000 euros, isn't it? You do not have to go to the bank for a big loan. And when you combine that with the raise of the soil price, this is a 10-year raise. You know, it's from 2013 to 2023, and the soil price per square meter went from 4.8 euro per meter and to much higher, 8 euros per meter, and in the Netherlands is already paid 23 euros per square meter. That means 230,000 euros per hectare. I, as a farmer, do not know how to do that, you know, but when you compare everything together, I think this is what will happen. Our dairy farmers will be the first to leave, and they have half of the soil in the Netherlands. They are going to be on that surface. What I see at this point is I see solar panels and I see tree nurseries because they can pay the big amount of for the amount of money to spend in the soil. So I really like to address this, because this was the key catalyzer for me to start my work, because I do not want to wait. I do not want to wait for policymakers. I do not want to wait, with all due respect, for the scientists to tell me what to do. I do not want to wait for big companies to make a decision. I want to start. And then I thought, what is the solution? What is the big thing that we have to deal with? I think we have to make farming fun again. And it's hard for farmers at this point of view. They are hardly earning any money, and society asked a lot from them, like biodiversity, nitrogen, the CO2, etc., etc. They are asking a lot, and we almost forget to ask, and please also do the food. Yeah, we have society goals with a lot of things, but is there enough talk about the food production of farmers? So let's make it fun again, and let's provide farmers access to fertile land. What was my analysis so far? And then it was 2012. And in 2012, I started reading some books about regenerative agriculture. And then I thought, okay, what is the solution to all the crises that we have? And I could only come up with one answer. And it was the combination of soil and soil. Because I think it's not only putting the soil in the middle, it's also putting our people in the middle. We as individuals have to reconnect. That's what I started with the soil again. And then I started thinking on how can I contribute to that, because I'm just an individual. I started making this scheme that guides me in my work. I started asking a question: ownership of land. Who owns the land at this moment? Because who owns the land is deciding on what the price of the land will be. You know, and if we know the ownership, then the other question is how do we use it regeneratively? Do we have the knowledge? And then I thought, okay, if this is the main questions, the two main questions, I, as an individual, can do something in the private context, and I need the public context as well, because I'm not able to put any difference in soil prices, for example. We need policy to make. So I gave myself 4 assignments. First of all, I have to create new concept. We have to create it, and we have to lobby with all that new concept by policymakers to make sure that we can do our work. On the other hand, we have to provide farmers and ourselves with access to land and the decent knowledge that we need for our work. And then I started Herenboeren as a concept. I will tell you more about it later on. But also the Robin, and Robin is formerly known as the Combi. It is a supermarket, cooperative owned, asking farmers to produce their food in a regenerative way. I will come back on that as well. We started Aardpeer, the community land trust, making soil free out of the speculative context that it is in right now. We start doing some lobbying with the Green Farmers Plan. That's where we gathered all the green farmers in the Netherlands. We're representing 500 farmers, talking to the ministry, etc. But at this point of view, we have stopped doing that, because what's the use talking to people who do not want to listen? So we changed our activities in campaigning and events to make sure people, individuals, are standing up, working towards a new food system. And at the Plaatsen, it's the last thing, that we are working on a knowledge system. But if you can see, we have to here. This is where the let's make farming fun part is. You know, provide enough knowledge to everybody who needs it, and rely on entrepreneurs to make new concepts. And here is the provide access to land. So this is what I started working on, and I'd like to talk a little bit about 2 of these concepts. It was 10 years or 12 years work right now. And before I do that, I'd like to introduce to you this ecosystem of foundations. They're all foundations. So it's the foundation Herenboeren, the foundation Aardpeer, etc. We refer to that as the Landschappij. And in Dutch it's a beautiful title, but in English it won't resonate. But it is the combination of 2 words, landscape and society. Because I really think that we need an ecosystem where society puts land in the middle. To go concrete, we started with Aardpeer, and I want to state that yes, people are willing to invest in their own new future. People are willing to spend money towards farmers who want to do it differently. The idea that people take care of the farmer and the farmer take care of us is behind all this. And we started setting up Aardpeer as a community land trust. We sell bonds. To go concrete, we sell bonds towards the public. You know, people can invest in bonds, and with the money we gather, we buy land, and we buy it for the final time. Because what we do is we put land in a foundation that is not able to resell it again. So it's a kind of a vault. We put the soil in the vault, so it's never be sold again. And when that is the case, it doesn't matter how the balance sheet looks like. If it has a 0 value on the balance sheet or 1 million, if you never affect it, it's worthless, economically seen. So what we can do is we can provide farmers with they're willing to go more extensive or more sustainable. We can invite them to bring their plans to us, and we say, okay, if you have the right plan, then we can provide you with the soil that we can buy. So people are now buying land for farmers who can do it better. People take care of the land, and farmers do the practical work on it. So what we did in a couple of years, we had some campaigns about selling bonds, and altogether we raised 11.5 million euros to spend on buying land and do not resell it again. And now we have already a lot of farmers that are working the land. Also, my own herenboerderijen are on that land. And the beauty is, yeah, you see the amount of investor, about 1,500 people have been willing to put money in that. On the other hand, there is, I'd like to talk about a little bit about herenboeren. And I will conclude my talk with a little movie so you can see the concrete what we are doing. This is how Koen introduced me. You know, I had to start with this movement, in my opinion, to bring people the knowledge and to bring people the connection with nature and the farm and their food again. So we started designing a farm in ownership of 200 households, 20 hectares, producing the food for these 200 households, including representing 500 people. So 500 people are eating on a daily basis of a farm of 20 hectares, and all you need is there. You know, there is fruit, there is vegetables, there is meat, there is eggs. We also do produce our own fodder for the animals. So we try to do it as regenerative as possible, but we really need the families to help. We started in 2013 with the organization. The first farm we designed, we created in 2015, and now our organization has all over the Netherlands 23 farms in ownership of these households. 10,000 members are eating on a daily basis directly from their own farm, and they have altogether invested 10 million euros. Because to become a member of the cooperative local farm, you pay an entrance fee of 2,000 euros. And when 200 households pay 2,000 euros, you have 400,000 not able to buy the land, but to hire the land and to do all the investments needed to start the farm. Altogether, we have today more than 400 hectares that we are working towards a regenerative system. And in addition, we still have 30 projects that we are trying to lift up from bottom to farm. And so that's new projects in the Netherlands who are actually facing just one problem, that's access to land. If there was enough land and there was access, I think we had already maybe 100 farms, not to go, but today that's not, we are not able. There is another 5,000 people participating in the upcoming farms in these 30 initiatives. We employ at this moment 54 farmers, and on average we have about 10 trainees on the farms as well. These farmers are employed by a central organization, the Herenboeren Netherlands organization, and we have study groups with the farmers. Every month there is 1 day of study, and in the winter season we have 2 days, because you have to study on how to make our farms more regenerative as they are today, because I think it's never ending. The knowledge question keeps on coming up. Okay, I have done this. What can I do now? What's next? So I think it's very important to bring these farmers together, and this is what makes us unique, I think, as an organization. Maybe you also know the CSA concept, but it is often the individual farmer who is for individual goals working. But here we are working in a non-profit organization with only colleagues. And we have this organization of 22 staff members in the Netherlands. Half of them is working to professionalize the farms that we have already, the 23 farms, and the other half is helping the 30 initiatives to become a farm. I want to end with a little movie to bring my practice into this room, and that's also the end of my talk. But I think it's nice to see how it can work if you bring individual people together with the soil. So I hope that this will work. Yes. is een groep mensen van ongeveer 200 huishoudens geïnvesteerd in een boerendienst. En die dat
Echt letterlijk waar je eten vandaan komt.
mijn vraag is wat loop ik doen, dat ik voor kort bij me eet. Dat ik de burgers ken, dat ik steeds dat ik vaak geslacht word.
Hoor je er eentje? En ook dat we er eigenlijk zelf op sommige momenten ook nog aan hebben meegewerkt. We hebben de plantmachine in het voorjaar bijvoorbeeld mee de plantjes zetten voor kolen. Belangrijk is dat de herenboer mede-eigenaar is van deze boerderij. En dus ook mede-eigenaar is van alles wat hier geproduceerd wordt. Dat je dat ook na een aantal maanden op een gegeven moment weer van je land af mag halen. Inderdaad, ja, dat is prachtig.
Je laat zien dat je met een groep mensen een boerderij kunt oprichten. En daar met elkaar van kunt eten. En door die stap te zetten als individu, draag je gewoon langzaam bij aan een stapsgewijze transitie naar een nieuw voedselsysteem heen. Langzaam dat herenboeren vanaf een plek waar voor voedsel geproduceerd wordt, steeds meer een maatschappelijke beweging wordt. Over gewoon een andere manier van in je eten voorzien.
We zijn onderdeel van de herenboeren en daar ben ik wel trots op inderdaad. Van hetgeen wat je dus hier van het land krijgt inderdaad. Ja, dat is gewoon heel mooi, want dat kan eigenlijk voor. Het samenkomen op de boerderij, dat vindt ons allemaal. En daarmee voel je je deelgenoot van een groter geheel. En dat begint bij onze eigen herenboerderij. Maar het is eigenlijk veel groter. Ooit begonnen aan dit concept om uit te rekenen met de gedachte wat als elke Nederlander zijn eigen boerderij zou hebben. Dan krijg je 17 miljoen boerderijen van. Dat is natuurlijk niet doenlijk, hè? Dat ga je niet maken. Daaruit komt hoeveel mensen heb je dan nodig om op één boerderij. Hè? Dat is het concept van de herenboerderij. Maar terugkijken naar 17 miljoen Nederlanders. En je zou dat met 500 monden per boerderij zoals we het hier doen, dan heb je 35.000 bedrijven nodig om Nederland op deze manier te kunnen voeden. En als die 20 hectare zijn zoals deze, dan heb je dus 35.000 keer 20 hectare, dat is 700.000 hectare. En 700.000 hectare is minder dan 1/3 van het Nederlands buitengebied. Dus het is mogelijk om met dit systeem of met een vergelijkbaar systeem al die consumenten te kunnen voeden en te binden.
Maar je moet de tijd in steken, maar als je het dan eet, dan weet je ook gewoon, oh ja, dit is gewoon lekker. Kijk om je heen. Dit is veel leuker dan opzij. Het is steeds wel eens een opzij hoor. Dus het is ook niet zo dat dat weggaan. Maar ik vind het ontzettend leuk dat iedere week op een bedrijf komen en gewoon een simpele mee.
2000 euro die wij eenmalig investeren, geeft je eigenlijk een leven lang toegang tot eerlijk, traceerbaar, veilig en duurzaam geproduceerd eten. Als je dat op een leven lang eten zet, is 2000 euro eigenlijk helemaal niet zoveel geld. Wij willen allemaal geen nummer zijn, maar op een of andere manier is het nummer van je lidmaatschap op deze herenboerderij is een soort van trots die je uitstraalt van ik ben lid nummer 46. En dat is, ja, ik krijg er nu alweer kippenvel van, dat is mooi. Als we met z'n allen dit gaan doen, dan hebben we daar gewoon 700.000 hectare in Nederland gewoon echt veranderd. Echt veranderd. En dan hoef je alleen maar zelf lekker van te gaan eten. Op het moment dat je nadenkt over het investeren in een huis en in je huisvesting, dan wordt er makkelijker geïnvesteerd of een hypotheek wordt gesloten. Terwijl we het hier over iets anders bazaals hebben in ons leven, namelijk de primaire behoefte aan voedsel. En dus eenmalig een investering doen van 2000 euro om een leven lang toegang te hebben tot je voedsel, is in dat licht gezien eigenlijk een kleine bijdrage. Dus investeren in je huis, hartstikke goed. Investeren ook in je voedsel,